So XDefiant has finally dropped, and I have some opinions. Now, this is a game published by Ubisoft, and anytime Ubisoft makes a decision when it comes to one of the games, I will always find myself asking this question: why? Now, I'm not a fan of Ubisoft for many reasons, but I'll try and put biases aside as much as I can to, look at XDefiant as it is. The problem with that is that I actually already did this when I reviewed this game 10 months ago. All the way back in July of last year, an open beta was held for XDefiant. I even made a video comparing it to the finals beta that was also happening around that time, and in that video I said that XDefiant was probably closer to launch than the finals because the product seemed like it was in a good enough state to launch as it was. So naturally, when it took XDefiant 10 months to come out, I was a little confused. Why did it take so long? The game felt ready at the time, and it also felt like the game had a bigger marketing push for the beta than the actual release of the game, which is kind of wild. But what is even more wild is that the game feels almost exactly as it did last year. I reckon I could have copy and pasted my script from the last video and, nobody would have known. Because the loadout variety still feels small, I'm still getting killed within 5 seconds of respawning, the gunplay still feels good, but I'm still getting killed around walls. The design of the map still feels stale and the game still runs through the god-awful Ubisoft launcher. Now, these are complaints that I could probably push aside if the game had released closer to the beta. It'd be expected that the game wouldn't have changed that much. But I can't believe I'm doing this again, but if you compare what the finals looked like from the beta to now, I can clearly tell you what, had changed about the game and what extra things were added during that time. And when I look at XDefiant, the only difference I can clearly tell you about the game is that there is now a battle pass. Now, here's the thing. I think XDefiant is an okay game. And so, I don't want to repeat myself from the video I made 10 months ago, but if you watch that, then, my feelings are exactly the same as they are now. And that's the thing, I think XDefiant is an okay game. It scratches that itch that I have to play Call of Duty, but modern Call of Duties have just kind of gotten away from me because the newer CODs feel just a little bit over-designed and the game speed is much higher, and I can't keep up with all the slide cancelling, the diving, the new way the perks work, and all that stuff. And I just kind of have to accept the fact that I've kind of aged out of Call of Duty. But XDefiant does feel like the sweet spot. It's not too slow and it's not too fast. It's close to classic Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1. Although it doesn't feel anywhere near as refined or feature-packed as those games were. And to quote me from 10 months ago, the game just doesn't do enough differently. The game in its current form is way too derivative, and everything it doesn't do better than any other game. And the best thing this game has got going for it is that it's really easy to pick up and play. I mean, it would be if PC players didn't have to go through the fucking Ubisoft launcher. So with the launch of the game, we're in this 6-week period called the quote-unquote pre-season. I'm not entirely sure why they did this, but okay. Also, for anyone who didn't play the beta, they have to unlock the DedSec faction or pay for it. Kind of fucked, but I didn't know about this until a friend of mine had mentioned it to me, but you need to gain 700,000 XP to unlock the 5th faction or pay 1,000 X coins, which is the worst name for premium currency, and that's equivalent to $15 Australian. And I'll be honest, I don't know how long it takes to get 700k XP. I saw someone do the math that it would take 140 games, but that probably doesn't include challenges. Well, another person said they unlocked it at level 33, which I reckon you would probably get if you play a couple of hours a day for a week or so. The main problem with this for me, though, is that there is an option to pay for it to begin with. I think you should just get rid of it, because either the amount of time to unlock isn't bad, and essentially paying for that unlock is a waste of money, or it is a big grind, and then we have to kind of open up the pay-to-win debate, which is super messy, and it'd just be easier not to do it. I'm never a fan of any type of monetization when it directly impacts gameplay. Along with launch, Ubisoft have also given us a roadmap of what is planned for the future of this game, and after the pre-season, we'll be getting our first lot of new content, with a new faction, 3 weapons, 3 maps, and another battle pass, which is, whatever, and ranked game modes at some point as well. I'm not really excited for anything in this roadmap, maybe the new faction, but 6 weeks is a long time, and I feel like when you launch a live service game, you have to be ready for new content straight out of the gate, and XDefiant isn't really offering any new content for the people who played the beta, I guess. It might be fine for the people who are just starting the game, but a lot of people did play that open beta. Again, it is just kind of something that everyone else like is doing, but XDefiant is just doing it the same or worse. Like, I don't know if I'm going to still be playing this game in 6 weeks. It just doesn't feel like there's much content here. Now, one of XDefiant's selling points is that there is no skill-based matchmaking outside of ranked, and this has been a big point of contention among players going into this game. I don't think that there is actually any real answer to the whole skill-based matchmaking debate. Personally, I think it's fine for casual games not to implement it. I find when the skill levels are more random, then the games kind of feel more genuine, if you know what I mean. It's like opposed to skill-based matchmaking when the games feel like they're manufactured to feel more close. Personally, if I know skill-based matchmaking is in effect, I feel worse for losing games, especially when I'm not playing at my best and they're like very close, as opposed to like when I'm getting absolutely smashed in a random matchmade game. But random matchmaking is also that, it is random, and sometimes you can just get bad luck. You can have a whole night of games where you feel like you are just getting absolutely smashed and you can't catch a break. That's the thing, there are pros and cons for both sides, and in the end, I think it is mostly just a personal preference thing. XDefiant is an enjoyable game, and there isn't anything terribly wrong with it, but there isn't really anything special here either. It's fine. It is really just fine. And for it to be free to play, it's good. I would say a solid 7 out of 10 game. Like, it is fun to play with friends. You know, there is a bit of depth there with abilities and ultimates and stuff, and, you know, curbing the way you play makes it, like, kind of spices it up from regular just shoot each other gameplay, but there's not an extreme amount of depth, though. It just feels surface level. Oh, by the way, did you notice that the footage that I've been showing since, like, the roadmap was actually just footage from the beta and not the full release? If you did manage to notice, well done, but if you didn't, then you probably get why that I've been, like, going hard about this whole release window thing where it feels like the game hasn't progressed over the 10 months that it hasn't been around. The whole thing just gives you that feeling that something isn't quite right with this game. Like, why isn't this game available on Steam when almost every other Ubisoft game is like back to being released on that platform? And especially as it is a free-to-play title, wouldn't you want it everywhere for maximum exposure, like with Trackmania? My crackpot theory is that Ubisoft is scared of Steam reviews and the play count tracker from SteamDB. Like, I know that's probably not true, but the only place I could find like user reviews for this game are like pissed off people on Metacritic. I would take this review score with a grain of salt because some of these reviews are just absolutely unhinged, even the positive ones. But I think adding an extra barrier to find out if a game is, you know, just not that great would probably mean a lot more people would be open to trying it, and it helps slow the process of the news spreading that the game is just okay. I think the game is fine, like, and I think it's definitely worth trying, like having it free to play. The only thing you'll be losing by trying is time, which is mostly up to you on how much you value your time. As for if this game is good enough to stand the test of time as a live service, at the moment it feels hard to say that it would. Like, I have been wrong before, many times, especially when it comes to predictions, but it has the chance at the very least. Like, personally, I'm enjoying it for what it is at the moment, and there will probably come a point where I'll just stop playing it forever, and it feels like that'll come to me sooner rather than later. The thing that gets me is, you know, there isn't really anything that is enticing me to keep coming back to this game. It doesn't really have, like, its hooks in me, and maybe ranked play could be that thing whenever it releases, and I totally understand the idea to not release that with the launch of the game because the game isn't balanced, and, you know, that's fine. Balance takes time to work out, and once the game is, you know, balanced in the developer's eyes, they'll release it ranked. That's a great idea. And there is a market for a game that has casual play that doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, and if those players enjoy this kind of game, then, you know, there is a market here for it. There's still people out there that play the older Call of Duties, the really, like, you know, stripped down basic Call of Duties, and they enjoy the games for what they are. And it's hard to say if XDefiant will, you know, in the end stick around, but, you know, if I was to take a guess, it would be no, but I enjoy it for what it is. But for me, just XDefiant doesn't have that, you know, X factor, that thing that makes the game, you know, special, that makes it stand above other games. It's just fine. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and if you are new, please consider subscribing. If you've played XDefiant, let me know what you thought in the comments. I know this video was fairly negative, but I really do think that there is a fun enough game here. It's just kind of baffling to me that the lack of progression this game has made over the better part of the year. Thanks to my currently one YouTube member. If you feel like my content is worth financially supporting, the option is there, and while I can't offer too much at the moment, you do get a badge next to your name in the comments, and you'll get your name in the credits in each video as a personal thank you. I also have a community Discord server where you can suggest videos or chat with me, and I've also started up a Steam curator page if you're interested in diving into more of my video game takes that may not make it into the full video. Links to everything in the description of the video. Thanks again, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.